Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by again on such short notice. We are back with another big, beautiful edition of IDP. A little bit of a different mix this week as opposed to maybe last week. Today's Doucheisode features some new, mildly psychedelic garage rock, some kind of droney electronic dream pop, some garagey indie rock, and also some Americana slash alt country or country indie pop, whatever, what have you. If you are feeling parched, as always, you're welcome to crack open an ice cold beer. You're also always welcome to grab a hold of a meat stick, perhaps even a sack of nuts, whatever it takes to tide you over. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Today, first up, we have the latest from a guy named Chris Allen Durham and his Wayne County, Michigan band, which is called C.A.D The Peacetime Consumers. And their album is titled Play Atlantis, and it's out on Dash Sounds. This is retro late 60s, early 70s style, garagey, proto-punk slash psychedelic rock. Yeah, garage, rock and roll, analog production style. It's a really fat sounding rhythm section, has horns, has keys, kind of a psychedelic boogie. Has some West Coast 1960s psychedelic rock swagger, and also some of that like Canterbury scene, avant-prog psyche thing going on as well. Has shades of artists like Nick Turner, Hawkwind, 13th Floor Elevators, and things like Cactus, The Sonics, MC5, somewhere in that kind of realm. I'm actually not sure how much of a following these guys have at this point, but I would say if you're looking for something in this garage rock revival with a little bit of a little bit of psychedelic rock peppered in throughout, I'd say this one is worth checking out. Yeah, so that is the band C.A.D and the Peacetime Consumers, and their new album is titled Play Atlantis.
Situations come, yeah, and they change. You're never sure which way you want to go. You played your cards all wrong, so now it's as you really want it, as you never need it, as you really want it, as you never need it. Jump into the void, jump and don't even look. Once was and what is empty as it gets. The emptiness of life comes as no surprise. Stakes
Next up, we have the latest LP from Steve Queralt, that's how I'm saying it, who is best known as the bassist of the Oxford shoegaze band Ride. His new solo LP is titled Swallow, and it is out now on Sonic Cathedral. So while Steve has released music under his own name, this is the first full-length album release as a solo artist. His earlier solo music or solo releases were more instrumental, droney, ambient electronic stuff. I think the key is that I don't think that he wants to sing at all. And for this album, you do get some of that post-rock, droney, electronic stuff a la Boards of Canada in spots or Sigur Rós in spots. But on this, he is joined by Emma Anderson of Lush for 2 tracks, as well as Verity Sussman, who was previously in Electroline and was recently, and still is, I believe, in the band Memorials that I think we talked about last year. She's on 1 track. So they provide those 2 provide vocals on the tracks they appear on, and it kind of breaks up the album in a way I think that probably makes it more accessible than if it had just been a mostly instrumental album. I would say the tracks that Emma and Verity sing on are kind of really satisfying dream pop cuts. I would say Verity's song perhaps is the most abrasive, kind of shoegazy track on the album. I think taken as a whole, this might be a tough one for some folks to get into because of the droney, electronic, post-rock, instrumental passages. There's like samples and stuff, I think maybe taken from movies or other media. But I think this is quite good. And I think, again, having the variety added with Emma and Verity's songs spaced out throughout the album kind of makes the album flow in a more satisfying way for me. This is definitely one where you can't really take what you hear in short samples to get any kind of an idea of what the full album experience is. You kind of really need to sit with the whole thing. Anyways, I like it. I think some people would love this if they gave it a shot. Others, though, I would say definitely would not. So once again, that is Steve Queralt, and his debut LP is titled Swallow.
Just don't know what to say.
Alright, so the Welsh band, the Bug Club, have returned with their 4th LP overall and the 2nd LP on Sub Pop Records. This one is titled Very Human Features. These guys have kind of developed a cult following for their kind of ornery indie rock approach with kind of humorous, shouty boy-girl vocals done in a kind of memorable, fuzzy, lo-fi, hook-filled, they're very like scrappy songs that aren't easily categorized. I enjoyed the album that they released last year. This one is definitely a little bit different. It's kind of like they're experimenting or feeling their way around, trying to find their own sound perhaps. At first listen, I wasn't feeling this as much as last year's album, but it has definitely won me over to the point now that I think I like it actually much better than last year's album, which was On the Intricate Inner Workings of the System, which was a good album as well. It was maybe a little more restrained than before, but still has some anthemic indie rockers, still has that sense of humor, and still has those like occasional cheerleader style boy-girl shouty vocals. Yeah, again, that is the Welsh band called the Bug Club, and their latest album is called Very Human Features.
I never believed in a social conscience. Hey me, I never believed in making a fuss. Hey me, I never believed in blind devotion. Hey me, I never believed in lesson 2 on how to be a confidant. You tie your shoes in an equilateral nonagon and ponder on the meaning of truth. Truth! Lies, 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 spouted the butterfly. That was actually a moth that I dipped in yellow dye, and I hung out on the washing line to dry with a dish.
The Baltimore band called Worn Through have just released their debut album, which is titled Barely Real, and it is out now on Strange View Records and Just Because Records. Worn Through features former members of a number of different bands, including Tin Armor, Angel Dust, and Wild Honey. This is some sort of a mix of, let's say, Americana, indie pop, alt country, baroque pop, sunshine pop, has some twang, has the like boy-girl vocals with sincere, heartfelt, melancholic lyricism. At some point when I was listening to this, it really started to remind me of the Australian band Quivers. If they went for a more country rock sound, it has that similar sincerity to it, if that makes any sense, that the Quivers have. Only this is more of a little bit of a twangy indie pop style versus what the Quivers do. Yeah, worth checking out, probably more for the pop kids that like a little bit of twang. That is, again, the band is called Worn Through, and their debut is titled Barely Real.
It's like a parapet wall coming on down. Nothing left to surround.